I have to start out by like saying who I am and stuff. I'm Dawson Brooks from Vintage High School. I live in Napa. I'm interviewing my papa. Um, yeah, his name's Terry Mitchell. I forgot to say that. So my first question is like biographical details. So where and when were you born?
I don't know. I was pretty little. I was born in 1947 in San Francisco,
Nice.
and I'm Dawson's grandfather. Hi, Dawson.
Who
The
were
war
your
went
parents?
on. The war went on in 1965. That war was going on. I was in high school reading about it, but I didn't go in the military. Went out and got a job. I was drafted into the Army when I was 19, and I was sent to Fort Polk, Louisiana. This is as far away from home as I ever wanted to be. So, you got another question?
Yeah.
Or shall I keep going?
Well, I got quite a few questions to ask. Who were your parents and what were their occupations?
My parents are Joseph and Neva Mitchell, and my father worked at the sub base as an electrician in San Francisco. He's an electrician too.
Who were your siblings and what were their names?
You want my sisters are Rita and Linda.
Did any of them serve in the military?
No.
What were you doing before you entered the service?
It's working as an electrician.
And now we're moving on to like this section 3. It's early days of service. So in which branch of the military did you serve?
I was drafted into the U.S. Army. And I was transferred to the Army of the Pacific when I got out of basic training.
If you enlisted, what? Oh wait, never mind. You didn't enlist. So, what happened when you departed for training camp and during the early days of training?
What happened? I was sent right away to Fort Polk, Louisiana, and see what happened. They cut off all my hair, and then there was this big fat guy with a whistle. And when he blew the whistle, everybody got hungry at the same time. And they already knew what you wanted to eat.
That's great. Do you recall your instructors?
I'm trying to remember his name. I remember my drill sergeant. I can still see him. I still see that guy. Yeah.
What was he like?
My drill sergeant was all Army. He wanted to train you very well. He became a drill sergeant because he was wounded with a grenade. So his hand was deformed. So he became a drill sergeant so he wouldn't have to get out of the Army because he couldn't do the job he had. So I had a lot of respect for him.
Did you receive any specialist training?
No. I was an electrician going in. They made me a generator mechanic. And so you get on job training, you're going to be a generator operator, which is, an electrician. So they made me what I was.
How did you adapt to military life?
I was young. I was 19, so it was an adventure. So, for the most part, stateside, you embrace it. You're in with a bunch of young guys just like yourself, so it was okay.
Now we're moving into wartime service. Where did you serve?
I had orders for Tonson Air Force Base in Saigon, but when we landed, the Tet Offensive started. So I was sent to the first division, Big Red 1. And I was in Signal, and I was in a fire base on the Cambodian border. Fire base is a bunch of artillery, supports troops in the field. So we would go back and forth from there to the field.
If you were on the front lines, what combat action did you witness?
Well, what do I remember the most? A lot of dead people.
How did you feel about that?
It's a waste. It doesn't matter if it's your guys or the enemy or whatever. It's just a waste. A waste of human life. Just settle the whole thing over a game of horseshoes or something.
Did you have any friendships or camaraderie while serving?
Yeah, everybody in your platoon's pretty tight. Don't rely on each other.
How did you stay in touch with family and friends back home?
You write letters.
What did you do for recreation or when you're off duty?
Now, when you're in a war zone, it's pretty much 7 days a week. But we did toss a football around sometimes.
Now we're on to the second to last section, war's end / coming home. Where were you when the war ended?
The war ended several years after I got out of the Army. I went in the Army in 1967 and got out in 1969, and the war ended like 1972. Went on for 10 years.
How did you return home?
They flew me to Japan and then flew me to Oakland. I got out at Oakland Army Base. Took the cab home.
How were you received by your family and community?
I came home to my family, and some friends from high school all stopped by. A lot of the guys that took me out to dinner and stuff. All my old high school buddies that were still around. Awful lot of them were in the service, so.
How did you readjust to civilian life?
You know, you're trying to make up for lost time. You had a couple of years taken out of your life. So I wanted to get a job, get a car, and I started going to college. Get my life back, that's all.
Have you remained in contact or reunited with any of your fellow veterans?
Well, yeah. There's a friend of mine that I worked with in the shipyard that went in the Army before me, and we ended up in the same outfit in Vietnam. So he was friends with him up till I got married. He moved up to Oregon. But, yeah.
Are you a member of any veteran organizations?
I joined the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
That's cool. What have you done since leaving the military?
Got a job, raised a family, raised 4 kids. Now I got 8 grandkids. This isn't working.
What's not working? Oh, hi, doggy. How's it going?
I'm trying to bust a glass door to get in. I gotta move. He was just in the house, and I kicked him out, and he wants to come in again. That's Bear.
Hi, Bear. We're going to move on here to the last section, reflections. So I got a few more questions here for you. How did your wartime experiences affect your life?
Well, you're a kid, 18, 19, you just get out of high school, you're going to be there, and it's like you don't pay a whole lot of attention to what the government's doing, what other countries are doing. When you come back from that, you pay a little more attention to your people you vote for. You don't want to get somebody in there that's going to start a big war over nothing. So that's probably the biggest change. You pay attention to what your government's doing. So you sure don't want them to start some stupid war like that and draft all your kids and grandkids.
What are some life lessons you learned from military service?
Well, I grew up there, so get up early and go to work, do your job. You're what you do. You get kicked out of the sandbox. You got to take care of yourself. Nobody's going to take care of you. They give you 1 week to straighten out when you go in the Army. It's your 0 week before you start basic training. So it's pretty much you're going to grow up now. They give you a week to do it.
How has your military service impacted your feelings about war and the military in general?
I think I answered that already. I mean, military training isn't for everybody. Some people need it. They can't get out of bed in the morning. It's good for a lot of people. I think you should serve your country. I think, to go out and take care of other people would be something that the military could do instead of having a war. You could, help people in hurricanes and stuff like that. Go out and serve your country for a year or two. I think that'd be good for everybody. Not run off to, they're in Afghanistan now. I don't know why.
What message would you like to leave for future generations who will view/hear this interview?
What am I going to tell future generations? I think everybody should treat their cities and their neighborhoods and the street they live on like it belongs to them. This is your country. Everybody should take care of it. That's from taking care of your drinking water, taking care of your neighbors. Don't litter. This is your country.
We got our last question here. Is there anything you feel like we haven't discussed or should be added to this interview?
No, I don't know. It's just a little history of the war, maybe. So I studied that a lot when I got out. I went to school, try to figure out what happened. I think everybody should try to learn the history so you don't have to repeat it.
If you want to go into that, feel free. If you want to go into that.
No. Huh?
If you want to go into that, go for it.
So you're just recording my voice, not me, right?
Right?
You're not recording me.
Nope.
You're recording just my voice?
Do you not want your face in here?
Well, I just blew my nose.
Oh. Okay. Uh-oh.
I forgot. You
Okay.
gotta edit the thing, right?
Yeah, I'll edit out you blowing your nose.
No, you won't. Come on, Dawson. I know you won't.
Do you have anything else you want to say about the Vietnam War?
I don't know. Just glad to get out of there. That's all. I don't know. War's not good. That's all I can tell you.
Okay. Thanks a lot.